Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Olere Odior and you're welcome back. It's great to have you back. I'm a transformational style coach as well as a personal brand expert. And on this channel, I talk about leadership, style, and self-improvement. So if you're into any of this, please do not forget to like this video, subscribe, share, leave a comment, anything to grow this channel. Today we're talking about a very interesting topic, and it's how to create your most polished looks, especially if you are a female leader. Being a female leader is quite an interesting position. You know, when it comes to your appearance as a female leader, appearance is queen. And why do I say that? As a female leader, you have what we call executive presence. And executive presence is not really a tangible thing. It's not really, something that we can put a finger on. But how you appear, how you dress, how you carry yourself impacts positively or negatively on your executive presence, which is a very useful tool as a female leader. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to create your most polished looks, because as a female leader, it's not all about wearing expensive clothes or flashy things. No, that does not matter. It's about how you wear these clothes, how you combine these clothes, how you navigate this world when you put your outfit together. That's what adds and impacts your overall executive presence. So I'm going to be teaching you how to create polished look, because that's the number one aspect when it comes to crafting your executive presence, creating looks that are polished. It's not about being fashionable or being stylish, but it's about creating looks that are polished and put together. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing 3 strategies. I won't call them tips. I'll call them 3 strategies on how you can create your most polished looks. So the first thing to consider when creating your most polished look would be fabric. Fabric is something that is very overlooked. Some people consider price point when purchasing outfits, when purchasing garments. Now I've seen highly priced items with very cheap looking fabric that do not stand the test of time. So when shopping for garments, focus more on the quality of a fabric rather than the price point. When it comes to fabrics, I would advise you go for thick over thin, sturdy over flimsy. So let's take these 2 fabrics, for example, 2 completely different fabrics, but I would say around about similar price points. You can see how this feels flimsy. Now, when going for fabrics, like I said, choose sturdy over soft or flimsy looking. Now, a fabric like this, number one, the benefit is it's thicker and it doesn't really have a stretch. But fabrics that usually have a stretch happen not to wear as long as fabrics without stretch. Now, there are fabrics that have stretch that are made really well. But what I discovered is fabrics that have a stretch, it's quite technical and difficult trying to make their seams seamless. And so you'd see that the seams are mostly uneven. You have a lot of threads and stuff dragging out because the fabric doesn't permit for even stitching because of how stretchy it is. And I would advise naturally to avoid things like lycra. Lycra is one fabric that's number one, difficult to work with. Again, you have things like uneven seams a lot in fabrics like lycra, and they just do not give an overall polished look. Now, I know some people like stretchy fabric because of the comfort that it brings, but most times you'd find that stretchy fabrics don't look as polished. There's a proper way lycra can be done. I find that lycras that are thick and don't have as much stretch, they work well. But typically, I would say go for something on the sturdier side. It doesn't have to be thick. Even if you're wearing a fabric like silk, instead of going for a very light silk, go for a thick silk. Instead of going for those very light, flimsy t-shirts, go for thicker t-shirts. They wear better. The second thing to consider when it comes to fabrics is actually how you care for your fabric. Now, if you buy a very good fabric and you don't care for it properly, it's not going to wear as long as if you bought a cheap fabric and took proper care of it. Now, how should you care for your fabrics? I'll generally advise against using the dryer and your washer for your fabrics. The dryer spins so fast and it's just a very unnatural process to get your clothes dry. When you tumble your clothes in the dryer, because of how fast it spins and how much wrinkle it brings to your garments don't last as long. It impacts greatly on the longevity of your garment. So what I would advise after using the washer, please skip the dryer. Let your garments dry naturally. Even garments that are white, I tend to notice that when you use the dryer on them, they tend to lose that luster, that shine they have to them. So completely avoid the dryer. Let your garments dry naturally. I promise you, it will impact greatly on the longevity of your garments. So the second thing to consider when creating the most polished looks is the cut. Now, when it comes to cut, we have two parameters on that cut. Number one, where your garment is cut. Number two, how your garment is cut. So let's talk about how your garment is cut. For example, let's say we have a pair of blazers. Depending on your body type, if the blazers has a bit of waist emphasis, waist definition, it will look more polished than if it were just to be straight, right? But of course, this depends on your body type. Some people do actually look better in blazers without waist emphasis. This is not a one size fits all type of role. But I'm saying generally, you find that if your blazers has a bit of definition, it looks better, especially when you are curating work looks, for example. Blazers that look more professional are blazers that kind of have that little bit of definition. So they're cut differently from the ones that just are cut to have, say, an oversized fit or have more of a masculine cut. Also consider things like shorts. Shorts that are more, that cut more to your body, that have this leggings type of fitting, don't tend to look as polished as if the shirt has its slight bit of flare. It tends to look much more polished than if it were just very close to your body. So if it tends to have a tiny bit of flare, now this will depend greatly on the body type, how much flare the shorts should have. But generally speaking, if it has a tiny bit of flare, it's not so tight to your body, it tends to have a more polished look. Then the second parameter is where your garment is cut. So for example, I find that full length pants actually look great on a lot of body types as opposed to cropped pants. There are body types that look great on cropped pants, but not all body types look great on cropped pants. And then even where the pants are cropped tends to greatly impact on how polished your look is. If the pants are just very slightly cropped, maybe they land on your ankles and then there's just a very tiny space between your ankles and your foot. I find that that doesn't give as much a polished look as if there's a significant space, not too high, but something that lands above your ankles. So there's that space where your legs can show before it continues into your shoes, right? So that very tiny detail can make a whole world of difference when it comes to creating your most polished look. The third thing to consider when creating your most polished looks would be color. Color is so important. And it breaks my heart when I see trends like the old money trend, wear only neutrals. Neutrals would make you look polished. Wearing only black would make you look polished. That's so not true. When it comes to style, the truth is there is no one size fits all. As it is with anything in life, really, there is no a one size, there's no one size fit all anything, most especially when it comes to color. There are colors that look polished on you, there are those that wouldn't look polished on you. Neutrals do not work for every skin tone. There are skin tones that would never, that would look terrible, that would look so unpolished, so unnatural in colors, in neutrals. Black is not also a color that looks great on everyone. Yeah, most people can wear black, but for some skin tones, black is very overpowering, and so is white. So understanding colors that work for you would impact greatly on how polished your garments look on you. I'll give you a very tiny tip as to understanding colors. If you wear an outfit and you notice that your face doesn't appear as bright, your face appears dull, many a times it's not the makeup that has the problem. Because if you've been wearing your makeup a certain way for a while, you know it's not the foundation or the powder or the lipstick. Many times you find that it's the garment, it's the color of the garment you have on that's impacting on the makeup. So the important thing to consider when considering colors is the colors that interact with the face. So colors you have up here, the tops mostly. With bottoms, you can mostly get away with anything. But with tops, because they're so close to your face, it's very important to understand the colors that work for you when it comes to your tops. One of the things I would advise you to do is to get your color analysis done. But if it's something that you cannot get done currently with a professional like myself, I would advise you take note of how colors interact with your face. Even when you're out shopping, put clothes close to your face and see how that color interacts with your face. If it lifts your face up, then that's a color that works for you. But if you notice that it makes the circles around your eyes darker, it makes your spots appear darker, it just brings discoloration to your face, then you know that's not a color that works for you. So these are three aspects to consider when creating your most polished looks. Please don't forget to leave questions for me below if you have any, and I promise you I'll make a video to make you respond to those comments so other people can learn as well. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and also turn on the notification bell so you get an update each time I upload. Till I see you again next time, stay fabulous.